up in the public school system. I pledge my allegiance to.
In a candid new revelation, Demi Moore opens up like never before about her tumultuous marriage to Ashton Kutcher. What seemed like a fairy tale romance has been exposed for its shocking complexities, as Moore shares the painful truths that were hidden behind closed doors. From trust-shattering betrayals to a marriage marked by emotional manipulation, Demi's candid reflections will leave you speechless. Join us as we dive deep into the untold story of Hollywood's once golden couple, exploring the highs, the heartbreaks, and the shocking secrets Demi Moore just revealed about Ashton Kutcher. You won't want to miss this. The love story that captivated Hollywood. When we think of Hollywood's most iconic couples, names like Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston or Beyoncé and Jay-Z often come to mind. Yet, in the early 2000s, there was one coupling that set the world on fire with its apparent perfection and magnetic appeal: Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher. The two quickly became a fixture in tabloids and on red carpets, with their relationship drawing attention not just for their shared love, but also for the 15-year age gap between them. Ashton, a rising star known for his role in That 70s Show and his groundbreaking success with Punk'd, was the charming, rebellious younger man. Meanwhile, Demi Moore, already an established Hollywood icon, had recently emerged from a high-profile divorce from Bruce Willis and was entering a new phase of her life and career. To the outside world, they were a perfect match, a modern-day fairy tale couple that embodied the idea of second chances in love. However, beneath the glossy images and red carpet smiles, their relationship was far more complex and, ultimately, turbulent. In hindsight, many believe the cracks in their marriage were apparent long before the public got wind of their struggles. As both Demi and Ashton navigated the pressures of fame, family, and personal demons, their once idealized relationship began to unravel in ways neither could have anticipated. The beginnings of a fairy tale romance. Demi and Ashton's first meeting at a simple dinner party in 2003 wasn't marked by fireworks or dramatic chemistry. Instead, their connection grew slowly, nurtured by shared experiences, mutual understanding, and in many ways a sense of relief from the pressure of public expectations. At the time, Demi had just gone through a tumultuous divorce from Bruce Willis and was trying to regain her footing both personally and professionally. Ashton, on the other hand, was enjoying the heights of his career, having just achieved major success with Punk'd and quickly becoming a household name. The media saw their 15-year age gap and, to some, that was all that mattered. Headlines were quick to label them as an unlikely couple, questioning the sustainability of such an age difference. In interviews, both Demi and Ashton spoke candidly about the joys and struggles of their relationship, often brushing off any concerns raised about their age gap. For Demi, she found herself drawn to Ashton's youthful exuberance, a refreshing contrast to the intense pressures she had faced in her previous marriage. Ashton, for his part, was enamored by her beauty and maturity, drawn to her strength and wisdom that came from years of life experience. Yet, despite their initial closeness and connection, this seemingly perfect relationship was always under the microscope of public opinion. From the beginning, there was pressure for them to live up to the image of Hollywood's hottest couple, a standard that would become increasingly difficult to maintain as cracks in their relationship began to form. Life behind closed doors, the strain of fame and career. What the public didn't see, however, were the private battles both Demi and Ashton were facing. At the start of their relationship, Ashton was riding high on the success of his career, securing deals with major production companies and thriving in his role as a tech investor and philanthropist. In contrast, Demi's career had slowed considerably. While she was still a recognized figure in Hollywood, she found herself stepping away from the spotlight to focus on her family and personal life. This imbalance began to create a sense of insecurity in Demi, who struggled with her identity as both a mother and a partner to a younger, increasingly famous man. By the mid-2000s, their once publicly perfect union began to show signs of wear. In 2006, Demi suffered a miscarriage while pregnant with a child the couple had planned to name Chaplain Ray. For Demi, this loss was profound. Not only did she lose a child she had hoped would bring her family closer together, but the grief took an immense toll on her mental and physical well-being. In her memoir Inside Out, she would later reveal that she blamed herself for the miscarriage, struggling with guilt and sorrow that left her emotionally and physically shattered. The miscarriage marked a turning point in their relationship, deepening an already present emotional divide between the couple. This sorrowful event seemed to send both of them into a downward spiral. Ashton, whose career was skyrocketing, struggled to connect with his grieving wife, while Demi's emotional turmoil led her to lean on unhealthy coping mechanisms, including alcohol and painkillers like Vicodin. The growing divide: trust, insecurity, and rising tensions. As the years wore on, the initial spark between them seemed to diminish. Ashton's rise to stardom in film and his growing presence in Hollywood created an increasing sense of distance between the couple. He was flourishing in his career, landing major film roles, while Demi was focused on healing and managing her family life. There was a marked contrast in their lifestyles. Ashton found himself surrounded by a new generation of co-stars, all of whom were much younger, while Demi increasingly found herself in a more domestic role, isolated from the glamour that had once been her world. This divide fueled insecurities within Demi, who felt sidelined as her husband's star shone brighter. In her memoir, Demi describes feeling increasingly isolated and vulnerable during this period, with her confidence eroding as Ashton's fame grew. Ashton, meanwhile, seemed to grow uncomfortable with his wife's presence on set, especially during the filming of his 2009 film Spread. Demi recalls that Ashton was quick to claim that his co-star, Jennifer Jason Leigh, wasn't comfortable with her visiting the set, though Demi suspected that the real issue was Ashton's own insecurities. This event, seemingly minor in the grand scheme of things, highlighted the growing emotional distance between them. It was no longer just about managing fame, but about managing a relationship that was slowly falling apart under the weight of their individual struggles, substance abuse, and controlling behavior. As Demi became more entrenched in her addiction to alcohol and painkillers, she found herself trapped in a vicious cycle. The substance abuse served as a way to numb the pain of her marriage falling apart, but it also fueled a deeper spiral of self-doubt and anxiety. Her memoir paints a vivid picture of how her relationship with Ashton became more toxic over time, particularly his increasingly controlling behavior. She describes how his actions, although often subtle, served to strip away her autonomy, leaving her feeling isolated and voiceless. The controlling dynamic in their marriage grew more pronounced as Ashton's career continued to flourish. He would often push Demi into difficult situations, including one in which he suggested they bring a third person into their relationship to spice things up. This suggestion, meant to improve their intimacy, would end up becoming a source of deep regret for Demi. She reluctantly agreed to go along with the idea, wanting to please Ashton and restore the spark in their marriage. However, as she later wrote in her memoir, she came to realize that the decision only served to further blur boundaries and introduce complications they weren't equipped to handle. What was supposed to be an experiment in intimacy turned into an emotional betrayal, breaking down the already fragile trust between them. The end of the fairy tale. Growing apart and final struggles. By 2011, it became clear to the public that Demi and Ashton's marriage was in trouble. The couple announced their separation, and the world was left to wonder what had gone wrong. It was a heartbreaking conclusion to what had once seemed like a fairy tale romance, but the cracks had been showing for years. The emotional toll of their miscarriage, the growth of their respective careers, and the growing sense of isolation within their marriage had taken their toll. Ashton's infidelity, later revealed by Demi, was the final nail in the coffin of their relationship. Ashton had been unfaithful during their marriage, which came as a devastating blow to Demi, who had already been struggling with insecurity and addiction. The aftermath of their divorce was a painful chapter for both of them, but it also marked a period of self-discovery and healing for Demi. In her memoir Inside Out, she reflects on her journey toward reclaiming her voice and identity. She writes candidly about how she lost herself in her marriage to Ashton and how she ultimately had to rediscover who she was outside of her relationship with him. Her story is one of resilience, one in which she overcame deep pain, emotional manipulation, and addiction to reclaim her sense of self. A decision that would alter their dynamic. By the time 2010 rolled around, the once perfect image of Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher's marriage was beginning to fray. To the public eye, the couple appeared to have it all: The glamorous Hollywood careers, the beautiful children, and the kind of love that inspired headlines. But behind the closed doors of their marriage, things were not as perfect as they seemed. After a series of personal and professional struggles, including Demi's emotional and physical toll from her miscarriage in 2006, the couple decided to try something unconventional to rejuvenate their relationship, inviting a third party into their private lives. The idea was conceived by Ashton, who, according to Moore's own words in her memoir Inside Out, was looking for new ways to keep their marriage exciting and fresh. He suggested they bring someone else into their relationship, citing the hope that it would spice up their intimacy. For Moore, who was desperate to hold on to her marriage and prove to Ashton that she could be adventurous, the decision was a reluctant but ultimately agreed-upon step. At the time, she was eager to prove that she could handle the situation and strengthen their bond. However, what was meant to be an experiment quickly turned into a source of regret. The introduction of a third party into their intimate life opened up a can of worms neither Demi nor Ashton could have anticipated. The boundaries of their relationship became blurred, and what had once been a private and sacred connection between the two was now fractured by external forces. Moore later expressed deep regret for agreeing to this arrangement, recognizing that she had unwittingly given up a sense of control over her own emotional well-being. Instead of reigniting their passion, the introduction of another person into their marriage revealed deeper issues, ultimately accelerating the downward spiral of their relationship. The silence that cut deep. The pain of infidelity was compounded by the fact that, when Moore confronted Ashton about the allegations, his response was dismissive at best. According to Moore, instead of taking responsibility for his actions, Ashton attempted to deflect blame, suggesting that the lines in their relationship had been blurred due to the previous arrangement they had made. He rationalized his actions by saying that the emotional distance between them and the introduction of a third party had created a gray area in their marriage. To Moore, this was the ultimate slap in the face, a justification for what she considered to be a blatant betrayal. Moore was devastated by Ashton's reasoning. His attempt to explain away the affair by blaming their unconventional decisions in the bedroom only deepened her sense of betrayal. What should have been an apology and an acknowledgement of wrongdoing was instead an attempt to shift the blame. For Moore, this conversation highlighted the growing emotional and physical distance between the two of them. It revealed how far removed they had become from the bond they once shared, a bond that had been built on mutual respect and trust. Public scrutiny and media frenzy. Ashton's silence in the face of the growing scandal only made matters worse. While he denied previous rumors of infidelity, he avoided directly addressing the Britney Jones affair, allowing the media to fill in the gaps with their own speculation. The lack of transparency and accountability from Ashton left Moore feeling even more isolated and betrayed. She found herself drowning in a sea of tabloid rumors and public opinion, with every detail of her private life dissected by strangers. The media had a field day with the scandal. Headlines screamed about the end of Hollywood's golden couple, dissecting every aspect of their marriage, from their public appearances to their alleged private struggles. What had once been a deeply personal issue between Moore and Ashton was now a public spectacle. The emotional toll of the media frenzy was immense for Moore, who, despite her public persona, was a deeply private person. She had always prided herself on maintaining control over her personal life, but now that control was slipping away, piece by piece. In her memoir, Moore writes about the sense of humiliation she felt, not just as a wife, but as a public figure. She was the subject of ridicule and gossip, her marriage disintegrating under the watchful eyes of the public. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was public, and that fact made it all the more painful. While Ashton remained largely silent on the matter, Demi was left to pick up the pieces of her broken marriage in front of the world. The final betrayal, the anniversary scandal. As if the infidelity from earlier in the year wasn't enough, 2011 brought with it a devastating second betrayal. What should have been a time of celebration, Demi and Ashton's 6th wedding anniversary, quickly turned into a nightmare. Ashton had attended a bachelor party for his close friend and that 70s show co-star, Danny Masterson, at the Hard Rock Hotel in San Diego. What should have been a typical weekend getaway for a group of friends quickly spiraled into scandal when it was revealed that Ashton had cheated on Demi again. this time with a 22-year-old woman named Sarah Leal. The details of the affair, which were leaked later that year, shocked the public. According to Leal, she met Ashton at the bachelor party and ended up in his hotel suite later that night. The two reportedly shared a hot tub with others before retreating to his room, where the encounter continued. Leal later revealed that Ashton had told her that he was separated from Demi at the time, which was a complete fabrication. The fact that Ashton had not only cheated on his wife again, but had also lied about the circumstances, was the final blow for Moore. The timing of the betrayal, a devastating anniversary. The timing of the betrayal was nothing short of cruel. The affair with Sarah Leal had occurred on the weekend of their wedding anniversary, a detail that Moore could not ignore. In her memoir, she described the gut-wrenching feeling of learning about the betrayal. "I felt sick to my stomach," she wrote. Knowing that the details of the affair were true, the timing made the betrayal feel even more significant. It wasn't just a random affair, it was a calculated and deliberate act that seemed to say more about their fractured relationship than anything else. For Moore, this wasn't just an affair, it was a final, unmistakable sign that her marriage to Ashton was beyond repair. The anniversary affair, in many ways, symbolized the complete collapse of their relationship. It was the last straw in a marriage that had been marred by betrayal, addiction, and emotional manipulation. The public collapse of a marriage. The media once again pounced on the story, with headlines trumpeting the collapse of what had once been one of Hollywood's most adored unions. The once gilded image of Demi and Ashton as a power couple was now in ruins, replaced by endless speculation about their relationship's downfall. As the scandal unfolded, Moore was left to deal with the emotional aftermath of the betrayal, compounded by the public nature of the situation. By the end of 2011, the cracks in their marriage had become impossible to ignore. The final betrayal, which came on their anniversary, made it clear that their marriage had reached its breaking point. Despite their attempts to salvage the relationship, both privately and publicly, it was clear that trust had been shattered beyond repair. The public breakup was inevitable, and by November 2011, the couple officially announced their separation. The aftermath and Moore's journey toward healing Ashton and Demi's divorce was finalized in 2013, but the scars from their tumultuous relationship lingered for years. For Moore, the aftermath of the relationship was a journey of self-discovery and healing. She had to face the emotional wounds of betrayal, addiction, and public scrutiny. In her memoir, she opened up about the process of rebuilding her life, revealing the deep pain and confusion she felt in the wake of her divorce. Demi's story, however, was not just one of heartbreak, it was one of resilience. Despite the devastation of her marriage's collapse, she emerged stronger and more self-aware, reclaiming her voice and her identity. While the scars from her marriage to Ashton may never fully heal, they became part of a larger narrative of personal growth and self-love. Through the pain, she found the strength to move forward, and in doing so, she showed the world that even in the most difficult of circumstances, there is always room for renewal and transformation. Inside Out, confronting the struggles through memoir. Despite the overwhelming turmoil, Moore's journey through these dark times eventually became a journey of self-discovery. The publication of her memoir Inside Out in 2019 marked a critical moment in her healing process. The memoir was more than just a retelling of her life. It was a deeply vulnerable exploration of her struggles, heartbreaks, and the long road to reclaiming her identity. In the book, Moore bared her soul, recounting painful memories from her past, including the traumatic experience of her failed marriage, her battles with addiction, and the emotional toll of being in the public eye. Her willingness to confront her demons in such a public way was a courageous act of self-empowerment. Through the pages of Inside Out, Moore shed light on the darkest moments of her life, offering a raw and unfiltered look at the toll these experiences had taken on her. The book was not just an opportunity to process her past, it was a declaration of her intent to move forward, to redefine herself beyond the shadows of her past. Resilience amidst the ruins. Though the road to recovery was not without its challenges, Moore gradually began to rebuild her life, both personally and professionally. Therapy, spirituality, and a renewed focus on her family helped her start to heal. She worked hard to unearth the pieces of her former self, the woman who had once stood confident and strong in the face of Hollywood's toughest challenges. This healing journey was not a quick fix, but rather a slow and deliberate process. It was one of rediscovery, where Moore began to peel back the layers of compromise and illusion she had built around herself for years. The journey was messy and non-linear. There were no quick fixes or immediate resolutions, yet through her determination to face her fears and reclaim her sense of self, Moore found a way to rebuild her confidence and sense of worth. Her story of recovery is one of grace and strength, showing that even after deep emotional wounds, a person can rise from the ashes and reclaim their identity. Kutcher's silence and the contrast in their journeys. In contrast to Moore's candid and public reckoning with her past, Ashton Kutcher's journey post-divorce was markedly different. While Moore used her memoir to process her pain and reclaim her narrative, Kutcher appeared to retreat into a quieter, more private existence. Shortly after the separation, Kutcher found comfort in the arms of actress Mila Kunis, his former That 70s Show co-star. Their connection blossomed into a romantic relationship, and by 2015, they were married. The couple has since built a life together, seemingly unaffected by the drama of the past. Kutcher's silence in the aftermath of his relationship with Moore contrasted sharply with her openness. While Moore laid bare the complexities of their marriage and the pain it caused, Ashton remained largely out of the spotlight, refusing to publicly address the allegations or to fully engage with Moore's revelations. His refusal to speak on their shared history created an air of mystery and left the public to speculate about the truths that lay hidden beneath his composed exterior. Moore's continued transformation and her legacy. Today, at 62, Demi Moore stands as a symbol of transformation. Her willingness to confront her past and embrace her vulnerabilities has inspired many. While her journey is far from over, the courage she has shown in sharing her story has allowed her to carve out a new chapter in her life. She remains an icon of personal growth, her story serving as a reminder that healing is possible, even after the most public of heartbreaks. As for her legacy, Moore's story continues to captivate and resonate with many who see in her journey the power of resilience. While questions about her marriage to Ashton Kutcher may still linger, the most important takeaway is her ability to rise above the tragedy of her past, carving a path forward with self-compassion and determination. Her journey of self-discovery has shown that even in the face of immense pain, there is always the possibility of redemption.